Hey, what's up everybody? In this video I'm going to walk you through some important steps on how to winterize your mower now that the cold weather is upon us. Now I kind of timed it this way, but the last mow that I just finished up, I kind of made sure I had a very low fuel tank. There's a little bit left in the tank, you can see. The idea is to have as little as possible, and you'll see why in just a minute. So no matter how full your tank is, you're definitely going to want to add some fuel stabilizer to your mix, and I'll put a link down below. But I just squeeze a little bit in the bottle as per the instructions and just throw a little bit in there and put the cap back on nice and tight. What I'm going to do next is just start up the mower, let all that fuel run through the engine for several minutes, and instead of standing there holding this bar together, I'm going to take a little twisty tire, a little piece of metal, and attach the start bar to the handle there, and it just can run by itself for several minutes. And so feel free during this time to grab yourself a drink, or in my situation, I definitely need to give some attention to the dog. He's well neglected in our house, 2 kids. But don't go too far, especially if you have just a little bit of gas left in the tank. You don't want that running out when you're not present. So while I wait, I like to get the next step ready here. You can see I'm going to undo the cap or the top for the air filter. So we'll take that off, and if you peel back the air filter, you can see the intake right there. Feel free to keep the air filter on at this time, but be ready to pop it off pretty quickly. And grab your can of oil. I'll put a link in the description below to the type that I like to use. And you're basically going to get it ready and spray it into the intake. You can see like that with the air filter removed. Now, since I didn't have a lot of fuel remaining, I'm going to hang out really close to it. And when it's on its last breath, so to speak, in other words, right before the gas runs out, I'm going to give it a massive squirt of this stuff. So let's take a look. So the engine's going to smoke a little bit as it feeds through all that oil and lubricates all those inner parts. And the oil will actually shut down the engine for you automatically as you spray it. So once you do that, you put the air filter back on and the cap back on. Of course, you'll maybe want to consider changing your air filter at this point, or you can do that in the spring. And next I'm going to turn off the fuel line here, move that little lever perpendicular to the fuel line as shown in the little image there. And that just prevents, as I tip over the mower, any gas, remaining fuel from spilling out. And I'm just going to visually inspect the bottom and make sure that I'm happy with how clean things are. Obviously at this point I would spray it out with the hose if I need to, but things generally look pretty clean. I don't see any clumps of grass or anything. And of course at this point you can change your blade if you need to. So now I'm going to put the mower back down and check the oil. This oil is definitely spent. So I'm going to grab a little container and empty the oil. And you might need to tip your mower to drain the oil properly. Taking great caution not to get oil on the grass, of course. Now my mower is a 4-stroke. I had to look up though the make and model specifically to find the manual to see how much oil actually went into the reservoir. And so be sure to do that if you're doing this yourself and refilling it. You don't want to overfill your tank. That's really important. And you'll go ahead and fill it up as per the instruction manual on your mower. Then you can check it again, make sure it's adequate, the level's adequate. And I'm pretty happy with that. Moving on to the spark plug. You can obviously change it at this point, or you can just lubricate it. I don't change mine every season, but I do grab this extra long socket here and take the spark plug off as shown. And with the spark plug removed, I'm going to grab my trusty can of oil and I'm going to give it a little spray, particularly the inside right through the little hole there. And then I'll give the spark plug on both ends a little hit. And then I'll hand tighten the spark plug, put it back in and tighten it up with my socket wrench. Now that the spark plug is good and tight, I'll put the cap back on, and that is basically it. Guaranteed this thing will start again in the spring without any issues whatsoever. Hope this video has been helpful.